everybody. My name's Sonoket. Welcome to Steam 2-Week Dive, where we take a look at all those games coming out in the next 2 weeks that are going to be interesting, weird, exciting, action-packed, and scary. Let's begin. Out June 4th, Another Eye is an exploration horror game where you have to collect we've heard this before, right? Collect a certain number of items in the spooky area that you're in before the monster catches you is the premise. Except Another Eye allows you to, while you're traveling, you can consume an eyeball, which is super disgusting, and you can actually look through the eyes of the monster that's hunting you so you can get a leg up, I guess, and try to live longer. Probably, though, you can just avoid the monster, like, through normal means? I doubt you really need to eat someone's eyeball or whatever. You ever wonder what it would be like if you drank the contents of a lava lamp and did acid and then made a game? Yep, I think you'd probably be pretty close to whatever the fuck is happening in Lava Lamp. They say it's a 3D first-person walking simulator with a side of exploration. Listen, do a bunch of drugs, and this is probably about what you'll get. Probably don't do it. After that, we have Guy Stops Auto, Right Version Simulator. Stealing every font known to man from Grand Theft Auto, this game appears to center around maybe an officer of the law who likes off-road drift racing and arm wrestling with a bunch of dudes wearing minimal clothing in the desert. Is the best I can describe this to you. Swift, that appeals to you? Well, June 4th, there you go. After that, we have Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. Now, these games are fairly popular. I've seen them in the past. A lot of buddies play them. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. This title. They need SGW Contracts 2 is just the next installment, which takes you across the Middle East. You play as Raven, Contract Sniper Assassin Extraordinaire, where you have to shoot a bunch of people in the head. Like, if you played these games, you know what it is. The bullet slows down as it gets closer to the enemy, so you usually get to see, like, their head explode, or the bullet go through their chest, or crazy other shit. You just shoot people with a sniper rifle from, like, really far away, and there's often a lot of covert elements to the game. But they do seem to be a fun series. I've played a couple of them. Next up from Sonoket Games is a game called Doombringer. It's for all those people that just could never get enough of Doom and Quake, the old school ones. This is going to take you back to those arenas that feel really, really familiar if you grew up in the 90s, and it's going to put you back in an arena shooter, well, just like those old games. I mean, there's really nothing here to say that they even say this is from the veterans of the Doom and Quake communities. They wanted to make a game that was just like the old school Quake Team Arena kind of games, where you just get thrown into arenas, small arenas with tight jumps and, air control, and they just wanted to blow each other up. So here you go. If you wanted to get involved with that right now, there's even a free demo, a free multiplayer demo. Okay, hold on. Next from Evil Boobs Cult Games is a game called Sex with the Devil, where, looking at the videos, you just seem to have sex with the devil. That really does seem to pretty much be the entire premise of this game. I'm not sure what else that's a huge penis right there. Okay. Wait, no, you have sex with a lot of different people. Okay, I'm a little bit confused on what kind of game this is. It looks like you have sex with a lot of people, including but not limited to the devil. So, next up from Horrific Incorporation comes the game entitled Why Not? And let me just go ahead and answer that one for you, game developers, because you seem to be confused. Why not? Well, because the game doesn't really look very fun, and apparently you have to fight with a creature and find a notebook for the government. And no, I did not just make up a silly way to describe this game. That's actually what they wrote in their Steam description. After that, from Sweet Games, who have brought us such previous classic jams as Hentai Craft, Megacraft Hentai Battlegrounds, Soviet Hentai, Sexy Sniper, Dance Waifu, Hentai Climbing. You get the idea. They have about 30 games, all with the word hentai right in the title. We have Siren Head Hentai Edition, which is the Siren Head game that I think that you may be familiar with, except instead of collecting regular pages, you collect booby photos, I guess, is this what they call a scarection? I just have to point this out. One of these games is just called Big Dick at the Beach. It's a porn game. Next, from developer Dead World Games, who have brought us such classics as Doomer's Adventure, Retrowave Road, and Acid. That's just a lot of eyes. Comes Satanic Panic 666, which, even though the name is silly, actually seems like a really neat Super Meat Boy-esque kind of game. You play what appears to be a small ball, and you have to navigate it across and around traps to get to the exit in each room, while you're being chased by a wall of skulls. After that, from Blast Mode MP2 Games, we have a game called Mighty Goose that actually looks really good for a change for this video. Mighty Goose seems to be inspired by old school Metal Slug and or Contra and or Mega Man games, except in this one you play a goose who is apparently also a bounty hunter, and you need to use epic weapons and devastating war machines to just kill everything on your screen all the time. And you know what? I'm for it. Sometimes you just gotta play a goose with a giant machine gun, destroying everything in your path. And I support this entirely and fully. After that, from developer Mana Games, comes Tennis Elbow 4, which, although the title deceptive, this is actually just a game about PvP tennis. Or I guess just regular tennis against another person. The reason I'm including this is because I so rarely see sports or especially tennis games that have online modes where you can battle other people just like that. And I know that some people out there must be interested in different kinds of sports games like golf, tennis, football, basketball, whatever, but it's so rare to see them on Steam, so this was actually like a really nice welcome surprise. Tennis Elbow 4 will be out June 5th. Next, from BWI Games, comes IORC, or Impact Orbital Rescue Crew, and it's a game that I've never seen done before, which is really cool. It's a 2.5D arcade flight game in which you have to, while flying basically straight towards the Earth, you have to save the crews or stop the debris that's falling towards Earth from hitting Earth. And so you have to use extinguishers, parachutes, lasers, and everything you can while you're on a time limit trying to stop these impending incidents from happening. I've just never seen a game like this, and it just seems really neat. It's always cool to see developers who are developing games way outside of the norm, and this is definitely one of them. Next up, from Team Sanit and NeoWiz, who were responsible for games like Metal Unit, Skull the Hero Slayer, DJ Max Respect 5, and a ton of other very popular high-profile games, comes Blade Assault, which is a 2D roguelike platformer, kind of shoot 'em up, beat 'em up almost. Do you like Katana Zero in games like Contra and stuff? Because if so, this is kind of right up your alley, except they added roguelike random elements to the game. So if you like those really fast-paced, high skill ceiling, high knowledge-based games, Blade Assault is going to definitely fill that void for you. Next up, from Gilda Entertainment, is a game called Machina Blade. Now this stands out because this appears to be what happens if you took a Mega Man-based platformer and Dungeon Fighter Online and turned it into a pixel-based RPG action platformer. You can play up to 4 players on local co-op going through these dungeons. Each player can play a different character class that each has their own unique abilities and skills, which actually is what takes this from what would otherwise be a very unexciting and overdone kind of a game to something that actually might be a ton of fun to get a couple of friends together and play with. Next up, from Busan Sanai Games, which is apparently a part of Super.com, who's responsible for games like Zelter, Retro Machina, Raji, an Ancient Epic, and now Wanhan the Prologue, Vengeful Spirit. Wanhan, a Vengeful Spirit, is a game based around stealth and murdering dudes when they're standing out in the open. It appears as though you play as a spirit who's really, really mad, and you can both possess and take over the bodies of the living, and your objective appears to just be to murder absolutely everyone in the stealthiest way possible. Now, I haven't seen another game that lets you possess living people since probably Messiah, which was a late 90s game on PC. And so I do think that this should be a lot of fun if you're into those stealth action kinds of games, and I especially like the top-down design of it. Next up, from developer Declazon, in apparently their first-person horror game, it's a game called They Are Here Alien Abduction Horror. This actually looks fairly spooky. I see a lot of psychological horror out there. I don't know that I've seen a lot of psychological horror about alien abduction and aliens coming down to the planet to terrorize people. This apparently puts you in the shoes of a journalist who witnesses an alien abduction at the farm, and you have to explore the farm in the area equipped with nothing but a flashlight and a camera. And another one of these games where it's all about flee and survive versus try and survive with, you know, some kind of a weapon. Next, from Dorijo Games, comes a game called Kingdom of the Dead. This is another throwback to 90s Doom, Hexen, Quake-style games, but this takes you on a very noir, black and white horror theme, where you have to push back Death's armies into the underworld while you survive and use numerous different weapons, from guns to swords, in order to get the job done. They say that the entire game is a hand-drawn horror style, which it does look to be true. I just really like the aesthetic. The dark, it's basically just black and white, and I've never seen a horror game done in this kind of a style. I dig it. I'm into it. All right, I know I was just talking about how rare it is to play games where you get to possess people, but apparently not even just a couple days later, developer Kids with Sticks is bringing us a game called Rogue Spirit. And in Rogue Spirit, you play a 3D roguelite action ghost where you possess the bodies of people around the kingdom in order to, I imagine, take your revenge against the people that have corrupted your land. Once you possess enemy characters, you can use whatever weapons and skills and abilities they have against their comrades, which is hysterical. I'm a big supporter. You just get to be a ghost ghosting around. After that, from developer Spare Parts Oasis comes A Rogue Escape. Now, this is a VR-only title in which you are placed in some sort of lost planet in a room with a lot of lost or forbidden technology, and you have to basically escape room your way out of here to get somewhere else and live. They describe this as being surrounded by unfamiliar buttons, levers, and monitors, and in full VR, you have to push, pull, and press and hack everything you can in an attempt to find a way out of this lumbering beast and to make your escape. Now, see, I'm a big fan of this because it doesn't really involve a lot of movement. You just get to push buttons, pull levers. It's the movement in VR that always makes me sick, so I may even be interested in playing this myself, except I'm an idiot and can't solve puzzles, so probably not. After that, from Cold Wild Games, who have brought us games like Merchant of the Skies and Lazy Galaxy, comes a fishing game called Luna's Fishing Garden. It's exactly what it sounds like. You both fish and create your own ideal garden. That's really it. You do a lot of fishing. It's very low action, low impact. Just sit in the boat and fish all day, and then you get to go make a garden. And along the way, you're gonna meet like a seal and a weird dog. That's really it. You know, if you're into this, then you probably know you're into this. The developer on this next one is unimportant. This game is actually called Let's Turn Pickup Beach to a Nudist Fucking Beach. And I did not just embellish that title. It's actually called To Turn Pickup Beach to a Nudist Fucking Beach. You're the owner of a beach house shop, and your goal is to change the beach house shop to a nudist beach where anyone can do lewd things whenever they want to. This is like, someone needs to go get some therapy. After that, we have a game that makes me very sad called Hot Pot for One, in which you're alone on a cold Christmas night, stuck at home in a foreign country, and you gotta make a hot pot for one. That is tragic. Oh boy, that makes me sad. After that, confusingly, from Abbeylight Studios, who apparently has nothing to do with the other Prison Tycoon game, comes Prison Tycoon under new management. I was not aware they were allowed to use that name, having nothing to do with the original Prison Tycoon game, but maybe the other one was called something else by someone. I don't really understand. But anyway, Prison Tycoon under new management is going to be the newest take on running a prison, I guess, and trying to keep everyone inside the prison for as long as possible, which is generally the goal. If that's your thing, that strategy game will probably be out mid-June. After that, from developer Draw Distance, comes a game called Serial Cleaners, in which you play one of 4 eccentric mob bosses attempting to stealthily clean up and deal with the aftermath of having murdered people. I guess you perhaps both take on and have to clean up. All I know is that one of these videos is one of these mob bosses running around with a vacuum cleaner trying to vacuum up all the blood before I think is the police find him. Nope. Okay. I'm into it. It's so bizarre. I'm into it. Let's do it. And lastly, from developer Pickpock comes Agent Intercept, in which you play a spy who has to outwit, outmaneuver, and outgun your enemies in an insane, basically combat-driving death race where you have to avoid helicopters, planes, lasers, miniguns, traps, explosions. You drive a boat and a plane for a while? I don't know what else you want. That's wild. I'll play it. Fuck it, let's do it. It looks great. I could use a new insane driving game. Destruction Derby 64 was too long ago. Let's do it. I just have to show you this on the 16th of June, because I was doing this 2-week dive until the 17th. On the 16th of June, there are so many game demos coming out on Steam. It is actually out of control to even attempt to discuss any number of these. There are so many of these coming out. And so I'm probably just going to wrap it up there, because that is a ridiculous I don't know why it is the 16th. I don't know what's happening. Oh, wait, is that E3? Okay, it makes more sense. June the 16th is the day after E3 ends. So everyone pushed all of their demos to come out the day after that week ends. There's too many to talk about. If you just go to the 16th of June, there's like 50 or 60 demos coming out on that one day. You can just go check them out. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. That was your 2-week dive for the 3rd to the 17th. Hopefully one of those games speaks to you. And that's it. Hopefully you found something you enjoyed. If you did, go wishlist it, add to your follow list on Steam. And that's it. You don't got to do anything else. As always, let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And until next time, burn bright, everybody.